this guy that gave me the recipe happened to live in the same apartment complex we did in Roanoke. It was a new apartment complex, South Roanoke Village, and almost everybody there was from out of town, out of the area.
Mm-hmm.
And he came from New York, and I can't remember his name. And so since it had this swimming pool, the swimming pool was our social event.
Center.
And everybody spent a lot of time there, and then we started having potluck dinners. And he would say almost once a week on like Saturday morning, "Oh, I only came for a short time. I have to go home and make my grandmother's sugo recipe."
Okay.
Very Italian.
Yes.
And so, I got to be curious, and I said, "Well, how do you do that?" And so he said I could come and watch him, and he would show me.
Okay.
And that's what I did. I went to watch him, and it's actually a really simple
recipe.
Spaghetti sauce recipe. It just used a lot of steps, and it took a long time because he always cooked it for somewhere between 3 and 4 hours. I'm sure Grandma cooked it all day too.
Mm-hmm.
So you start with onions, chopped or sliced onions, and garlic, and then you add tomato paste.
Mm-hmm.
Put in tomato paste, and then you add some tomato sauce. It depends on how much you want to make.
Right.
I don't think he ever had, or I ever had, it written down like 4 cups, 2 cans, 1 such and such. Then after all of that gets melded together in some oil, olive oil would be the big thing right now. It's all melted together in a pot. You brown the pork chops. And she used pork chops, pork sausage, and even ground pork if you have it.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't all go in at once. The pork chops or the maybe spare ribs or whatever go in with the onions, the tomato paste, but they have to be browned
Mm-hmm.
a little bit. So then you put those in, and you put tomato sauce. You put Italian seasoning.
Mm-hmm.
He never had showed me, and I never had fresh herbs, so it was just dried Italian seasoning to taste, and cans of tomatoes. And the best tomatoes that he liked to use were the San Marzano.
Mm-hmm.
And he insisted that you had to put them in a bowl and crunch them up with your hands.
Okay.
The whole tomatoes. But you put in the sauce and the crunched up tomatoes. As I say, depending on how much you're making, how many cans you would use.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think I ever used more than like 1 can of tomato paste, 1 can of tomato sauce, and maybe one can, big can of tomatoes that were crunched up.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just start simmering it.
Mm-hmm.
Simmering it as long as you want, but 3 hours, 4 hours, whatever. And before you served it, then you would saute and brown some sausages.
Mm-hmm.
Or loose sausage.
Mm-hmm.
You could just use loose sausage. And then you would add that for the last half hour or so. So it would all come together.
Mm-hmm.
And then you would serve it over spaghetti.
Yeah.
How many times do you think I made it?
I don't know. How often do you think you made it?
I think I might have made it once a month or once every 6 weeks.
At least.
As long as we lived in Newton.
Yep.
And you can change it with the seasons. You
Right.
can put fresh herbs in.
Mm-hmm.
You can put different kinds of sausages in.
Mm-hmm.
But you always start with the pork.
Mm-hmm.
That was very necessary. It's a pork dish.
I think it's interesting that he fried the tomato paste as well.
Yes, he put that in.
With the onions.
Yeah. And you would still do that because for some reason. And my mother always put sugar in her sauce with the tomatoes. So
Right.
we may have put a little sugar in it too.
I think you did.
Salt and pepper.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I put a little sugar. So that's the way I remember learning about it.
Yep.
And that's the way I remember making it.
And that,
I think that just about everybody who socialized in that group in South Roanoke apartment villages learned to make his sugo.
and do you remember his name now?
No, but I will think about it.